important negotiations in modern times. The British people made the decision to leave the European Union, and Labour respects that decision. The next steps along this journey are the most crucial. And if the Prime Minister is to unite the country, as she says she aims to do, the government needs to listen, consult and represent the whole country, not just the hardline Tory ideologues on her own benches. Britain is going to change as a result of leaving the European Union. The question is how. There are Conservatives who want to use Brexit to turn this country into a low-wage tax haven. Labour is determined to invest in a high-skill, high-tech, high-wage future, to rebuild and transform Britain so that no one and no community is left behind. Mr. Speaker, the direction the Prime Minister is threatening to take this country in is both reckless and damaging. And Labour will not give this government a free hand to use Brexit to attack rights, protections and cut services, or create a tax dodger's paradise. So let me be clear, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister says that no deal is better than a bad deal. But the reality is, no deal is a bad deal. Less than a year ago, the Treasury estimated that leaving the European Union on World Trade Organization terms would lead to a 7.5% fall in our GDP and 45 billion loss of tax receipts. Has the Treasury updated those figures, or do they still stand? If updated, can they be published? If not, what deal could be worse than those consequences of no deal? It would be a national failure of historic proportions if the Prime Minister comes back from Brussels without having secured protection for jobs and living standards. So we will use every parliamentary opportunity to ensure this government is held to account at every stage of the negotiations. Mr. Speaker, we all have an interest in ensuring the Prime Minister gets the best deal for this country. To safeguard jobs, living standards, we do need full access to the single market. The Secretary of State for exiting the EU seems to agree on this. He stated in this House on the 24th of January, the government plan is, and I quote, a comprehensive free trade agreement and a comprehensive customs agreement that will deliver the exact same benefits as we have. So that is what they pledged. So will the Prime Minister confirm today that she intends to deliver a trade and customs agreement with the exact same benefits? The same goes for protecting workers' rights and environmental standards, protecting Britain's nations and regions, protecting Britain's financial sector and services, and making sure there is no return to a hard border in Northern Ireland. And when, Mr. Speaker, does she expect to be able to guarantee the rights of all those EU nationals who live, work and make such a massive and welcome contribution to this country? And for those British nationals who live or in all parts of the European Union, including guaranteeing that their UK pensions will not be frozen post-Brexit. Mr. Speaker, Brexit would be a huge task for any government, yet so far they seem utterly complacent about the scale of the task ahead. The government ministers can't make up their minds about the real objective. The Foreign Secretary, he's here today, said in October, our policy is having our cake and eating it. How apposite from the Foreign Secretary. Today, the Chancellor on BBC Radio 4 said, we can't have our cake and eat it. Maybe they should get together and talk about it. These, at one level, Mr. Speaker, might seem like flippant exchanges from ministers, but they do reflect serious differences about Britain's negotiating aims. The government must speak with a united voice. However, the Foreign Secretary is the same man who promised our National Health Service £350 million a week once we left the EU. Now he believes that leaving the EU without a deal would be perfectly okay. It would not be perfectly okay. It would damage our economy and people's living standards. Will the Prime Minister confirm that she rejects such complacency? Labour has set out our test for this government's Brexit negotiations. And we will use all means possible to make sure we hold this government to their word on full access to the single market, on protecting Britain from being dragged into a race to the bottom, and ensuring our future relationship with the European Union is strong and cooperative, a relationship where we can work together to bring prosperity and peace to our continent. If the Prime Minister can deliver a deal that meets our tests, that will be fine. We'll back her. More than ever, Britain needs a government that will deliver for the whole country, not just the few. And that is the ultimate test of the Brexit deal that the Prime Minister must now secure.